Hello, welcome to this tutorial on OpenShift code-ready containers. I'm pretty excited actually about this one. What this allows you to do is have a single node master worker OpenShift instance for dev test. It runs typically on your local machine, like on your laptop or your workstation, either on Linux, Windows, or Mac OS. In this case, we're going to spin it up in a VM, so it's going to be a nested virtualization deployment. There are maybe just one advantage of having it in a VM, and it really is that it's not on your laptop, so it can be shared, or you just aren't installing anything on your laptop, right? So it just gives you an environment you can use. But if you don't have a lot of hardware to build a full lab, spinning it up in a VM is pretty trivial. Now, the performance will suffer because it is a nested virtual machine, but you can work through that and just understand, of course, that it's not going to be as snappy in this situation as it would maybe if it was built on your local workstation. So I went ahead and I set up this is a CentOS 7.9 minimal VM. I went ahead and installed it, set it with a static IP just so you wouldn't have to see me install a VM. But the hardware specs here are 4 CPUs, 16 gig of memory, 45 gig of thin storage. Remember that because it's nested virtualization, you're running containers on a VM, inside a VM, we want to make sure that we enable the hardware virtualization. So make sure that that's enabled. In order to do that, you can go right to your VM. And again, I'm using VMware, right? So this is vCenter, but it works in ESXi. It'll also work on VirtualBox, whatever you want to use. But in this case, we want to make sure we can enable those hardware settings for the CPU. So I'm going to go to Edit Settings, CPU, and there's a checkbox here for hardware virtualization to expose that to the operating system. So we want to make sure that that's checked. Once that's done, we can go ahead and boot up this VM. Now, I will also mention that when you're running code-ready containers, this is probably the minimum specs for vCPU and 16 gig of memory. The VM that we're going to spin up inside this VM is going to consume the 4 CPUs and or most of those 4 CPUs and at least 9 gig of this memory. One feature will not be enabled in CRC, and that is the monitoring for the environment. Now, you can enable that, and in GitHub, I'm going to provide you a full script on the installation, but I'm also going to provide you the option to enable monitoring. Now, that said, you're going to probably want 8 CPUs here, and 6 of those CPUs allocated to the CRC VM. And you're probably going to want, I'd say, 24 gig of memory, and at least 16 of it actually allocated to the VM for monitoring as well. And because it is nested, it can still be pegged in performance, but at least you'll get all of those features. Now, I'm not going to do that in this demonstration. I will provide the steps to do that in the script, but we're just going to do this as what it would be typically without enabling any additional features. Everything's going to work except for monitoring, and it'll be a little bit snappier in a nested virtualization setup anyway. Okay, so let's go ahead and fire this up. And again, I've already created the VM and I patched it, just the normal patches. I haven't installed any packages or anything in it for the environment, so we're going to go through that together. But for the most part, the setup's ready. All right, so I'm on the host. I also put my host in DNS. And then there's, I'll provide the strings later, but the CRC environment will also kind of spill out some DNS entries, and I put those into DNS as well. You can, if you don't have a DNS server or access to one, just put them in your Etsy host. It just needs to be able to resolve it to the VM. All right, so first thing is let's install our packages, and I'm installing wget so I can fetch the packages, xz so I can extract the CRC compressed file, libvirt, we are doing virtualization here, and haproxy. Haproxy is going to be installed so that I can access the nested VM from my workstation. All right. Okay, while that's done, we want to run over to cloud.redhat.com, and when you go to create clusters, you'll see this option here, cloud, data center, and local. We're going to select local. When you go to local, this is where the code-ready container archive is, and it'll run on Windows, Mac, or Linux. We're going to select Linux here. Make sure you keep this page open because you will need your pull secret. We will also be installing the OC and kubectl binaries, and those are under data. I don't know why they don't put a link under that one, but go to any of these. It doesn't really matter. But we want these command line interface tools, and you select them for your distribution as well. Let's go back to local. I'm going to need that one first. All right, so we're done here. Clear. And then, oh yeah, so CentOS typically has Firewall D running. Yes, it is running. All right, so let's enable our ports so that we can have remote access. So this is 80 and 443 for the web UI and 6443 for the API. We're going to put those rules in there. And you can either reload Firewall D, or I'm just going to restart the service because why not? All right, now we can go ahead and grab our link here for our code ready containers, copy link, and we'll just get that down. It's like a 10 gig file. It'll take a couple of seconds to pull that. And while we're at it, again, we're going to jump over here and we're going to pull down the command line interface tools for Linux. And we'll just copy that link. And when this is done, we'll pull the other one down. Okay, so let's pull our command line tools. All right, clear. And we'll extract the OpenShift client tools first. So sudo tar is the XF. We'll grab this and we'll put that in user local bin. And then we'll extract the CRC file. And we'll untar it into user local bin as well. All right. So let's untar that. So sudo tar xf crc. Oops. It's already been uncompressed. Okay, there we go. And then there's a fingers work CRC. So inside here is just a CRC file, right? So we'll transfer that. So move. Let's see, sudo move CRC Linux CRC to our path user local bin. And we'll just clean this up. Okay, clear. Now, most of the environment's done, so we can do CRC setup. I don't think there's anything else, so just CRC. I mean, it's actually pretty easy, CRC setup. And this is going to take, dare I say, 10 minutes. But once we run setup, it's going to decompress the container. And anonymous statistics, no thank you. All right, so this, again, this process takes some time. So I will, see it's a little, almost 11 gig VM. So I will take a quick little break and come back when this is finished. Okay, so here, it's only taken about 5 minutes, 4.5, 5 minutes. So you can run CRC Start, but I like to reboot the Linux host before I do that. All right, so now we're back in the machine, hit clear. Let's do CRC Start. Yeah, CRC Start. And here's our pool secret, so that's what we needed to stay on this page. Oh, I'm on the other one. I don't think it matters, but I'm going to go back to the page I was on, copy it here, paste. This will take a couple minutes to... And you can ignore this. My Linux box does not have a UI, so it's not going to launch that. Okay, so that took about 12 minutes from the time we spun up the CRC Start till this point. And we're provided with presented with two logins. Here's one for the developer. So there's a pre-configured developer account, and of course you have your administrator account right here. So if we just log into that one, let's say copy, paste this in there. Well, it doesn't look like it's actually up yet. Might take a few seconds for the authentication operator to spin up, so we'll give that a couple of minutes. In the meantime, let's go ahead and configure our haproxy so that we can have remote access from our workstation into the CRC container. So first I need the IP address of the CRC container. So we'll do CRC IP. That gives us the container IP address, 130.11. It's easy to remember. So let's do sudo vi haproxy, and dump this out and paste in the one from my script, and we're going to replace all the server with my server IP. So that's server with 192.168.11.120. So this is the IP address of the VM code ready. And then our CRC IP, will replace these here. Which was 192.168.130.11. I think that was it. All right, save that. Okay, so CentOS does have SE Linux, so we're going to enable haproxy in SE Linux. Great, and then we'll enable it so it'll restart, and then we will start the service, and then we'll check the service, sudo systemctl status haproxy should be running. Yep, clear. Okay, so now we've got the services running. We do CRC console. This gives us our web URL. And I do have this in DNS, as well as the OAuth in DNS and API in DNS. I'll add those as optional Etsy host entries in the script as well. So if you don't have a DNS server that you can put those records in, you can at least put them in your local machine's Etsy hosts so you can resolve them. They will be required for you to access the website. So we've got this in here, we'll copy that out, and we'll just paste it in here. This should pull up our console with the console started. And CRC, I lost my credentials, but you can get those back by just doing console credentials. ILS. Like that, and here's your Kube admin account. So you can see it's pulled up the, so this is running from my workstation, haproxying into the CRC. Oh, is it not up yet? Authentication. Oh, I need the G. I didn't copy that right. Paste. Oh no. There we go. Okay, so this is OpenShift CRC. The only thing that's not going to be running is monitoring. So if we do OC get CO over here, we can see that some of the stuff's still coming up, but monitoring will stay down. This is not enabled. We have the API server still building, but I have a full working hybrid node here. So if we look at OC get nodes, we'll see that it's a single node master worker. All right. So that's it. I mean, this is essentially a fully working single node OCP instance. And if you want to access it, I should show you. Let me pull up another terminal here. Pull up another terminal window. So this is from my local machine. And if I want to console in, so if I want to console in, I can just paste that in. And it should get me access. Yep, OC get nodes. So there you go. So I can access the system from the VM, or better yet, from my local machine, both the UI and the API. And this essentially is OpenShift, right? I mean, you can create projects, you can load operators. There's really not a lot you can't do other than the fact that monitoring is not enabled. So you're not going to get any performance monitoring. Again, I'll add those links to, or I'll add those details to the script. So if you want to enable it, that's fine. Just consumes a lot more resources. But it's a great little box. You can start exploring and messing around with OpenShift, how OpenShift works. You can run the OC commands against it, kubectl commands, everything works. So it's a really good initial test environment, especially when you don't have a lot of extra lab equipment. Anyway, I hope this video was helpful. Please like, subscribe, share this video. I'll put links to all the documentation below, as well as the links to download the packages, and then of course a link to the GitHub. Please check out that GitHub page too. I try to put all the content from the videos out there, and there might even be some content that didn't make it to videos. That's available as well. So definitely check that out. Again, thanks for your time. I appreciate the subscribers and the support. And until next time, thanks.